Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of the Smoke Room. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and are getting the newest version earlier, you can go to their Patreon, which is $3 a month for this and other games. So, on last Let's Play, we want to sneak away from the Stag party? Bachelor party. And we found out through Cynthia that we could do that with a hoedown and a hootenanny, which we did through song. And we slipped out to walk about, then forgot that we're supposed to meet... I can't remember her name, the black cat, you know, the student at the mausoleum. Didn't find her there, we might have been late. Cliff and Murdoch's sister was there, and they were just looking at graves. And then we had to come back, because main character has a job to do with his clients, that being the bachelor party, and Murdoch's tagging along. So, this is going to be full of age content. Reset my face. And begin. There's a fog swirling inside the drinking hall of the Saguaro's hip when we return to it. The Saguaro, whatever. Alert postures have long been replaced by the slouches that smoke and spirits grant. The piano player has abandoned his jauntiness in favor of meek, delicate scales. It's kind of funny. I'm like, I'm going to redo this a little bit here. And it's like, and I'm reading one word at a time. But I guess it do be like that. Most of the show girls have long since abandoned their stations, but a few flirt amongst the bar as they prepare to transition into their night duties. And I do the same, as Sam pulls me by the cuff of my shirt up the stairs and to his room. He exchanges some whispers with the Meseta woman, who nods and rushes off to deliver directions. There's a bucket waiting for us, or there are buckets. He asks me if I need help cleaning, but I tell him I already know how. We rinse together, giving one another dignity of the opposite direction. I feel like you're a little bit beyond dignity at this point. Well, maybe not that's the word, but it's like, hey, you're going to like bang a couple of dudes, I think. And also, you've seen each other naked and banged. I think when you've had sex with somebody, you probably don't need to be all dignitary and stuff like that, you know? I mean, if you're close, I guess, ish. Also, are we talking about rinsing each other, just ourselves in general, or are we talking about inside? I mean, I guess buckets would help. It doesn't take me long. I pat myself dry and dress myself, check in myself, knowing I'm just dressing to be undressed. And then I wait outside for them by the door. I see them walking in a row, down the hall like criminals in a pact, coming towards me to engage in something just as criminal. The smell of booze and the ardor of men's deep rivalry clouds the air as they approach his room. Adore? I don't know. I gesture at them with my arm beckoning, as if I'm just another waiter. Your sense of service is a nice touch, kid. The physician pats my cheek, and his paws linger on my face as he lets the back of his wrist smooth down my whiskers. The grim congressman says little. Grim? And does not make eye contact with me, but the tenon in his pants speaks for him. Jim is the last to pass by me, but he's close enough and full enough of rum for me to feel the warmth radiating off his cheeks. I remember his smell. I remember the low murmur of his voice and how it rumbles like a plea, all bravado shed, whenever I show that he really wants something. Wait, all bravado shed whenever I know that he really... I don't know. This might be the last time we get to do this for a while. Let's make it good for each other. I don't know if it was ever wholly good, even if it feels good. He makes me stir between my pants all the same, leading me by the collar into Sam's room. Sam is on the bed, leering at them as they walk in. He's shirtless, but his pants are still on, his suspenders unhooked from his shoulders. There's a closet for your nice clothes. Is this room not the closet? I take the jacket for him before he complains any longer. We could all do with getting a little bit closer, anyhow. Jim unhooks his cummerbund, stripping slowly. What is a cummerbund? Only you would take us to a brothel with some of the most beautiful women in the West and manage to take us to the men. There's always room for seconds, Neil. I bet this episode's gonna keep me busy. His pants drop to the floor, and he steps out of them, slowly, gracefully, silver fur shining in the moonlight. The whole room can see that your cock's stiff, so let me prove a point. That being my dick. My dick point. Point being what? He unbuttoned his pants and fished out his balls. Men know how to suck better. Neil rolled his eyes. Reuben looked curious, but unconvinced. It makes sense, doesn't it? We know it feels good. He turns to me. I can already smell the sharp scent of his frenzy in the air. Would you care to show them? I hear Sam sit up on the bed. The doctor lets out a one-tone note laugh. Of course, he's having the usher do it. Are we the usher? Or is he the other usher? I don't know. It's not just an usher. That's his brother. Jim rolls his eyes. Only by law. I've seen you weigh your dick on with stranger things, by far. What would that entail? Only when you get me drunk enough. I don't wait to be asked again. Such a sport. Show him how to lick proper. I knows Adam. He always has a very clean sweat. The smell is familiar and reminds me a little more of my own each time. And the taste is good. Well, look at him go. The congressman hemmed. I have seen a blowjob before. But he's shifting while he stands. He's touching himself. Drunk enough, then, Neil? The doctor and the congressman drop their pants, walking closer. I feel something warm poke the side of my cheek. Go on, then. Show me what's so special about this usher. He'll need to open wide if he wants to fit all three of us. I'm the professional, actually. I hear a loud thunk as Sam sits in front of me, dropping to his knees. I catch my breath for a moment. I remember where I am. And where... He looks a bit tubby, now that I think about it. This guy over here. And we're zooming in? I don't think I've ever zoomed in before. Okay, give me a second. I need to read before everything zooms in too fast. What makes a whore a professional? Same sort of things you do for lobbyists, I imagine. Haha, got him. Can't you two just enjoy this? I think Neil already is. His rear is soft. By God, you're just perfect. How I wish you could see the look on your face right now. He lifts it again. Another smack. I hear him snicker. He thinks it's funny. My cheeks start to burn. Not with shame or pleasure, but anger. He lifts it again, still dribbling slime. And I pull away a little too fast. And for a moment he loses poise. He stumbles clumsily enough to dishevel the fur on his head, cursing just as loudly enough that I hear his friends shift their bodies and turn their heads. He moved his cock so weird that he fell? You good, old boy? I could tell he was holding back laughter. Perhaps you proved your point, Jim. If I knew you're going your own brother-in-law's mouth that fast, I wouldn't have taken my time. He's still just looking at me like that, or not main character, but could have let you have a go at mine and Ruben's piece here. They laugh together, then hurtle around. Jim stands dumbstruck, wiping his brow with his handkerchief. I feel for a moment like I just saw something I wasn't supposed to. Like a dramatic switch in the trio shifted. I can see it in Jim's eyes as he looks down at me, bending his knees and lowering his voice. What I hear isn't the placid, distant voice I'm used to hearing. I hear panic. What on earth are you doing? I feel short of breath. I'm sorry for the reflex. Reflex? He doesn't sound convinced, but I don't let up. Reflex. I'm foul right now, and should wash. He moves in, as if to stare me down, but I simply stare back, calmly, and I hop up. Let me go clean up. Perhaps not too much. You should be reminded for the rest of the night what you made me do. What, come quickly? I smirk. But there's so much left to do tonight. I put my hand on his shoulder and squeeze it. He looks taken aback. It's your party, after all. I'll be right back. I take a towel and begin to wipe my face as I put on my trousers and head towards the door. The other man knows me once more before Sam drags both of them to his bed in each arm. Jim stands, and I feel his eyes on me as I walk out the door. I hear the door open and then footsteps. Murdoch. What, Jim? He lifts his arms as if stupefied. What the hell was that? Good job, I should hope. I want to enjoy it. But you always enjoy it. I do, Jim. You're just not the reason why. Seems like you're afraid that you did too. Stop blowing hot wind. I already know that I enjoy it. So then the problem's just enjoying it too much? We're just different, you and me. I just can't catch the same sort of reputation you have. A reputation? That's news to my ears. Then now's a good time to open them up for a moment. My tastes are not your own. I am not subservient. Yet, if I offered to lick you behind your tail, would you really say no? Those words stopped him in place, and I saw his tail shiver. Kink unlocked. I give him my most sympathetic smile. See what I mean? No. You aren't acting yourself tonight. So wait, I can't catch the thing right now. Is it that, like, this guy's going, I'm not a bottom, I'm a top, but he actually is a bottom, or what? Something's different. I chuckle and readjust my bow tie, walking towards him, touching him on the arms. Seems to me like you're overthinking things. You've had a lot to drink, and excitement. A lot of drink. I would be too, considering the day tomorrow. Or, he jerks free of my embrace. You're just acting suspicious. My lips fall into a frown. Suspicious? How? His gaze lingers on me. Funny thing that. You're not right this instant. But you're different sometimes. Like just then, back in the bedroom. I shake my head. I swear that I don't mean any offense. Jim bites his lip. I think I believe you. But I know that something queer just happened. What, us sucking each other's dicks? Yeah, it's a little queer. Or, I suck in your dick. Even if I can't put into words yet. The door to Sam's room opens. We should talk again after the party. I'll try to stay dry for you, but no promises. I don't understand anything. The big puma takes up the entire doorframe before he steps aside, wiping his mouth as the other two bachelors stumble past the door, fully dressed, but walking somewhat clumsily. I don't know, I find it weird that in this game, Sam is a bottom, though maybe it's like kind of thing where it's like maybe all the gay men here don't want to be presumed as bottoms, because, I mean, look at the guy. I mean, people here tend to be muscular, but it's like, okay, I'm not sure with Nick, though Murdoch and Cliff are bottoms, so never mind. Now, there's a routine that would keep me spry. The greyhound lifts his brow, regarding the cats. Not has seen you move so quickly. Had to just keep up with the Old Faithful over there. He jerked his head to Jim, waggling his eyebrows. I heard Jim chuckle darkly as he passed me, regaining poise, crossing his arms over each of their necks. It sounds to me like you're both finished. Get off me, Jim. You smell like booze. But I was about to say, but we all smell. Not as much as me before a night is up. That's a promise. Not so much as me before the night is up. The three of them laughed as they swayed down the stairs. Hey, Sam? Yeah? Can you walk me home before Ralph sees me? Yeah. We pass the hoots and hollers of the stage below, and the drunken laughter emanating from the powder room as we descend the stairs. I need to do the thing where I don't exactly read the words perfectly because I feel like it just goes easier. Here's home. We stare at the brick house with the candlelight in the window. You don't have to call it that. It's just a bit of a reflex. How was the party? About as good as I would have expected. You really didn't have to come back with me. I decided that I wanted to. Did I do it alright the first time? Alright enough. Besides, the point is that wasn't your first time. We stared some more at the house, tired, sweaty, struggling to stay awake. So, what made you slip up? Fox looks down, shaking his head. He laughed at me. I didn't like it. They'll do that sometimes. It's not your fault, though. It's not? No. Your sense for rhythm is impressive. Watching you made me want to try harder. Oh yeah? Yeah. His tail switches back and forth, like it's grinding in an 8-figure motion. Or gliding? Maybe don't try as hard as me. Why is that? 'Cause we're only halfway through it all. I wouldn't want you to lose all your energy. Fair enough. I flapped my coat to let some air in. God, I would hate to have this in, Utah, Texas weather. Unless it's like a winterish kind of thing. Though still, fur. This formal wear is killing me. My mother will do the killing if we get them dirty before the big day. That party was pretty rough on the suits. If we air them out tonight in the garden, they'll be fresh for tomorrow. Is the gate locked? Somebody lit the lantern. Is it your mother? I don't have the energy to prepare for something like that right now. If it's anybody, I'd presume it's Holly. You'd presume right. I guess not. The nice sister? Reset face. Or, yeah. We got a moment. Ah, the one getting married. Whoa. Did I alarm you, Mr. Ayers? I didn't expect you to be right there is all. I find people often show up where you least expect them to. What, at the house? Like my fiancé, for instance. We both turn around to see where she's glancing. Jim is walking into the light, both of his hands in his pockets, looking a bit sullen. Jim? I thought you'd still be at your party. I'm throwing in the towel a bit early, considering this is the second time you've both snuck off. The second time? Your eyes narrow on Murdoch first, then on me. You and Ralph were supposed to be escorting him tonight. They did. The rat's still with my other friends, in fact. Well then, at least one of them is taking this seriously. Hey, who says I'm not taking things seriously? Well, look at him. He's clearly upset. I shouldn't have to remind you how you and Ralph get when you're idle. We're rarely idle, but when can we be? We've earned it. Wait, but yeah. I am upset, Holly. I feel Murdoch tremble. But he's not the reason. He stops. Holly tilts her head and opens the fence. Then what's ever the matter, my dear? I came all this way just to see what these two are up to. Mostly because when people sneak off and don't tell you why, they're generally up to no good, or something fun. But here, they are waddling home to you. It is rather late, isn't it? Please, let me finish, dear. She nods. Please do. One of the first things I hear you do as I'm walking up is give him a command. Well, that's simply a coincidence. I promise that I don't spend all of my waking hours sending them to and fro. Though I hope I will receive some grace for pushiness, considering what will come to pass tomorrow. Like, isn't that like we're all kind of being like, okay, she's no good, and Jim's like, nah, I ain't putting up with she being pushy. It seems like it. It would be prudent for us all to retire. There you go again. Am I being unreasonable? Unreasonable? No. Though I really hate to tell you this, dear. You sound so very like your mother when you tell the group of grown men what they ought to be doing. Well then, I should take that as a compliment, I suppose. For all her rough edges, I really haven't met a more put-together woman than my mother. Stop reciting prepared statements for a moment and listen to me. The day that I trust you with the truth of my... He avoids looking at me or Murdoch. Nature. It took less than a day for your brother to confess an attraction to me. Oof. I thought at first that he must have been pining for a moment, the moment he laid eyes on me. But the way he shrank from me tonight and buzzes about you gives me doubts. This is very childish, Jim. It just so happens I'm fond of childish things. But I'm fonder of the truth. She looks back at the house, then back to us. Perhaps this is not the best place to speak. It suits me. She sighs. He tells me you're charming. You tell me a bride alone can't satisfy you. Where's the harm in putting two and two together? I only said yes because I thought he won this. And he does, as far as I know. So, what is the truth then? Murdoch takes in a deep breath. Holly folds her hands over her chest. I think you're beautiful, Jim. And I'm haunted by how much I enjoy making you finish. I hear that doesn't apply only to me. Please. The vixen sounds disgusted. There's no need to be depraved. There's little I can say about this otherwise. Murdoch. But Jim, he exhales. I really can't stand how you talk about my family. I promise that they're not nearly as interesting as you think. Or how you talk about women. Or how you talk about people like me. I don't know why you're out to crucify me then. If I have to be honest, I'm the best thing to ever happen to you people. How could you say that, Jim? Your father's a few years and one violent lapse away from a sanatorium. And your mother's a mirthless bitch. And what's worse is that I know you agree with me. Holly sucks her teeth. It rarely does somebody any good to fixate on a person's faults. You'd have to be damn well blind not to see those faults. I'm not asking for worship or praise. I'm asking for basic decency. And I'm once again asking for the truth. Why are you sniffing between my legs if I make your skin crawl? How does that make any sense? Because maybe you're not the best thing to happen to me, but you are the best thing to happen to Holly. Murdoch, don't make things worse. No, please do. I want to hear this. I slept with you because you're a rich brat, and I love my sister. It's nobody else's fault but mine. Wait. He knows that's not true. He's just trying to defuse the situation, isn't he? I have something I want to say. You stay quiet. You're not even involved in this. Boy, I know that feeling. That's why I prefer to stay out of shit. Don't you dare talk to Sam like that. His shout makes both Holly and Jim head snap at him, or to him. It's the angriest I've ever heard him, and the first time I've ever heard malice in his voice directed at a family member. Murdoch? The tone of her voice changes from calm and measured to woeful. Her frame trembles as her face scrunches up. Why are you yelling at me? The furrow on Murdoch's brow melts away as his eyes widen. Out of all the days to choose to yell at me, could it be any other day than this one? He swallows his spit and looks down, ashamed, as if he had lost control and hit somebody. Horseshit. Jim and Holly remember I'm a bystander all of a sudden. His sour face turns pensive, and her tearful look turns cold. I was there in the bathroom this afternoon. I point to the vixen, who's pretending to cry. She asked him to be with you tonight. He didn't want to go. What are you, a groundskeeper? Clearly my brother's latest diversion. He's a whore, of course. Ever more colorful. What makes your words reliable? Because your servants, and probably the rest of the family, can hear you from the bathroom when you're out there in the fucking garden. I believe him. Of course you do. But even if I didn't, would that really matter at this point? That makes her turn to him and focus only on him. Jim? Her tone of voice is wavering. What are you talking about? I can see that all of these people in your goddamn family have screws loose. And you apparently know better. I'm no better? Jim, this is one of the stupidest, most melodramatic cases of insecurity I've ever had the misfortune to deal with. And do you really want to know why? Why? Because this all begins and ends with the simple fact that you can't keep your prick in your goddamn pants. Nobody speaks up for a moment. Are you kidding me? Do you think I'm kidding you, Jim? Oh, I wish I was. Oh God, I wish I was. Do you really think most places in Christendom would sympathize with an adulterer cheating on his new fiancé? Cheating on her with men? Her own brother, no less? Are you that fucking sick and crazy? Are you really trying to spin this turn to turn on me? It was always on you, Jim. You are the problem. You can't be serious. Couldn't be more. But you know what? I look past all of that. Because regardless of the depths of your depravity, I still loved you. And I loved you too. At least I thought I did until all of this insanity. So then, where are we now, Jim? Do you love me or don't you? Easy question, I hope. He paused. Are you fucking serious? I don't know anymore. I have to think about that. Why do you have to think about that? Because I just don't know what I want anymore. You don't know what you want? She cackled. You just don't know what you want? Yes. Did I stutter? The wedding's off. The wedding is tomorrow. Our family and friends are already here. I feel something thicken in the air as they start to bicker. It's something lofty, heavy, and smells like ozone. Uh-oh, I guess it's the echo happening. One embarrassing day is better than a lifetime of regret. If I'm feeling any different, I'll reschedule the wedding in the city. No. The fuck you mean no? I mean, you're not canceling the wedding. Jim burst out into laughter. I'm afraid I just did. You can't wait at the altar. You can wait at the altar all you like, but you won't catch me there, my love. I really didn't want to do this, Jim. I didn't think I'd have to. But you will be there. And we will be officiated by a priest. And we will move to your house in the city as husband and wife while you make up your mind on whether or not our 4-year relationship means anything to you. What a pretty fantasy. I think I prefer non-fiction. Jim, I'm being very, very literal with you right now. Because you will regret if you do not comply. And what could you possibly do to make me regret something more than marriage I've been coerced into? Jim, I have given 3 informants copies of photographs of you having sex with my brother. Murdoch stumbles backwards. I just feel like I've misheard. What? What? Jim looks pale. Those are private photos. And what do you think I was gonna do with them? Idiot. She crouches to her knees, holding her ears. Wait, he crouches to his knees, holding his ears. Murdoch is covering his mouth. I'm in those pictures, Holly. How could you do that? Yeah. Jim nods, as if confirming something to himself, as his mind races. Yeah, that's right. If I go down, so does he. You wouldn't do that to your own brother. I didn't think I would have to consider doing it to you, yet here we are. You have to get rid of those pictures, Holly. This is stupid. This is mean. None of this is even going to get us out of this town. I don't know why you're panicking. You're not in any real danger, Murdoch. Do you know how many times Mom has gotten you out of trouble? No. More times than I can count, and more times than I'm sure she's been willing to share. Don't you know how many in Peopletown already know that you are, or what you are? You're safe. Please, just trust me. And please, nobody cast the first stone if I'm lying about any of this. I hear a loud thud as I see Holly's frame shift sideways. She's shrieking, "My arm! Who the hell did that?" I look in the direction from where I think the stone was thrown. There's the house behind us, and the tall fence. I turn a corner to see if someone's crouching down, but there's nobody. I do, however, notice that the bathroom window is cracked open. I think I can see the shine on somebody's glasses before it backs up into the dark. The more I stare, it looks like 2 pairs of glasses. From the other direction, the garden gate creaks. Ralph gives us all something of a fruitive look. Crying again, are we? At least I have the decency to wait for me to get a few jabs in. Have the decency to wait for me to get a few jabs in. He grins, as if waiting for somebody to give him a saucy reply. But it's just quiet. Real quiet. All of their eyes are on him. As his smile wanes, his brow furrows, and he spins, closing the latch on the door. Holly starts stepping towards him as he looks behind the shoulder. You. Yeah, me. He lets his guard down again, but he shouldn't have. She swats to the side of his head with a bag. You threw that rock at me, didn't you? He holds out his arms, confused. Admittedly, the idea was appealing right now, but I don't think my pay grade is that high. She slaps him. Holly! Ralph's head moves with the force of the smack. Then he rolls his head back into position, just like one of those roly-poly toys. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that this probably isn't the first time he's been hit. He rubs his cheek like he's feeling heat spread out of it. You look like you need to get that out of your system. Oh, you bet I did. You have no right to accuse me of anything. He nods his head. Oh, don't I? She sucks in her teeth. This just confuses me. I'm pretty sure he didn't throw the rock, but he looks like he's enjoying Holly's reaction against him. Oh, don't start with me now. Don't I, Holly Barnes? His volume rises, the highest I've ever heard it, his pitch the deepest. She looks like she's about to say something, but then closes her mouth and glares. He didn't throw the rock, you know? Murdoch and Holly say what at the same time. The bathroom door opens, and a small voice carries from the window. You'll wake Mother and Father from their sleep if you don't stop yelling. It was the younger sister. Truth be told, I'm surprised they ain't awake, considering all the yelling. Living this close to the train tracks makes them accustomed to earplugs. Delilah. You old grandma, you know. I don't care. Did you throw that rock from the window? She hums in a sprightly manner. From up here, that rock doesn't look like an asteroid. Only rocks I have any interest in are asteroids. But sometimes you discover something you don't want to find when you turn them over. She hums again, this time in a more questioning tune. Isn't your fiancé a rock expert? Jim doesn't say anything. Perhaps you can consult him on such matters, since you're so close. With that, she closed the window pane of the bathroom. We all stand out in the garden for a while, as the crickets chirp. I'm not looking at the rock. I know you're not looking at the fucking rock. The crickets just keep chirping. Jim keeps rubbing his face, then smacks his fist into an open maw. You're bluffing, aren't you? Wait, what is it? then smacks his fist into his open paw. Have you known me to be a gambling woman, Jim? He kicks dirt out of frustration. Who'd give you the envelopes too, Holly? Her lips tighten as she leans her head back and shift a dangling piece of fur out of one of hers? Tis. Sift a piece of fur out of dangling eyes. Boy, this keeps on going. I was like, I really should have ended it when it was like, 24 minutes. Our sister, my grandmother, and one of my oldest confidants. Porter Moreau. Jim's eyes go wild. But what if they snoop Holly? I wouldn't give it to them if I thought they were going to snoop. Well, she's right in some ways about her younger sister. But apparently, she didn't have the foresight to expect that she'd burn the damn thing. They don't have as good of a relationship as I thought earlier thought. But what if they snoop? The desperation is repeated question is turned to rage. Simpering is turned to snarls. I don't think I'd be able to hold myself back, as well as these two, if somebody made a threat like this to my face. I suppose that's the difference in cloth we're cut from. But it don't concern me. At this point, I don't really care about how these two settle their grievances. If Murdoch's exposed, being with him more is going to be a hell of a lot harder. And that does concern me. If I let Murdoch go through this wedding, that sends a message that Holly has permission to do something like this again. And I can tell it's not going to stop her from doing something worse in the future. She's going to be accustomed to that particular kind of lifestyle, with her role as the eldest sibling in a wealthy family. She's going to take care of her brother and sister in ways that she's learned, using the tactics she's known will work. But I don't think it's her fault alone, just letting it get as bad as it did. Murdoch isn't either. He's become comfortable with this particular type of lifestyle too. I know that he knows that. But looking at this any other way, I don't know what else he can do. He's either got to get all those photos, or go through with it all, just making sure to keep his mouth shut. That would just make it Jim's problem, not ours. Right, not our problem. Why don't y'all go through the motions without officiating the marriage? Holly's mother snaps in my direction, like she's surprised I'm still here. But even more surprising to me is that she responds, because I want a husband, not a performance. Her voice is a low hiss. But you're so fond of those. But you're so fond of those, I'm finding out. My disappointment is very real, make no mistake. He's laughing now, almost yelping. Exactly what I'll do then. I'll make no mistakes, and then leave town. And I'll make sure they hunt you down. You have a good job, don't you, Jim? He eyes me suspiciously. The money's good, yes. Why not lose some of it instead of all of it then? Ain't nobody's gonna get hired if they're plastered for sodomy on the front page of the Sunday paper. He points. Because it still means that she'll have none of it. He points with his index claw at Holly. Not a cent. But whatever, brother. His ears twitch a bit when I say it. Ah, there it is. He's just false. He didn't enjoy any of that. Now, Mr. Sterling. I touch his shoulder and he flinches. My snout reaches his ear and I'm whispering now. We both know that ain't entirely true. He always finishes, doesn't he? He shivered a bit. I could smell that shy trace of excitement in the air from him. What are you two talking about over there? Murdoch was staring. but it was a placid kind of look. Whether it was true or it didn't matter, or did not matter, Jim had no compassion to spare for his bride's night, but he was wounded, and I could tell he wanted somebody to tend to those wounds. After my suggestion, I could hear the shift in the suit's fabric, slacking as his posture softens. Only a modest share of my salary then. Holly blinked. She looked at me as if almost impressed, but the look didn't last long. Enough for permanent housing. I'll be done then. I can't guarantee I'll be home very often. She grimaces. Well, you know the idiom. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Though perhaps it'll come around in time. He scoffed. I'd rather lose track of it given enough to drink. Lose as much time as you like, so long as you're at that ceremony at least 9 a.m. I'll be done then. So, where are you going now? To the guest house my friends are staying at. I don't want them to come tomorrow. She squints. And don't you think they'll ask why? I simply do not wish to give them memories. But don't worry. I was already upset with them before your schemes. They'll understand discretion. They had better. He and Holly turn away from one another in the opposite directions and begin to walk. He turns back to look at Murdoch one more time. Holly doesn't look back at all. Jim disappears out of the rose gate, and Holly walks up the stoop, facing the back of her home. She grabs the handle and squeezes, but she's interrupted by a hemming sound. Why aren't you at the beach, Holly? Or weren't you at the beach? Ralph's voice is soft, but dangerous. Murdoch is shaking his head quickly, but the rats ignored him. I think we're gonna move back just a tad. Because, we're at the 52-minute mark, and it's late, and I want to drink this cup of tea that I've, put up. This entire scene could have been an episode in and of itself. Ooh, woof. But enough about that. And enough about the scene. I think it's time to call it. So, please comment, because I like comments, don't you like dislike tips, otherwise. If you like me YouTube and like Secret Chrome, then please like, subscribe, and check out the rest of Epic Chrome. Please expand your ammo to control the pet population. I really think that with these things, I should end this scene if it's near the 25 or 24-minute mark instead of keep going. Except for Glory Hounds, which, had 10 minutes left-ish. But yeah. Right, if you want to play this game, itch.io or Patreon for $3 a month. Woof, this scene. Remember to censor it. And until next time, me, GamerWolfSix of the Smoke Room. I'm gonna hopefully sleep well tonight, so thanks and see you.